Okay, guys, what's up? Just got done binging watching Cheer on Netflix. If you have not watched, I would greatly recommend you going and watching. Um, Holy crap. It's a pretty intense show in a good way. Nothing like crazy or anything, but gotta give it up to it's a small JUCO college, Navarro. I think it's in Corsicana, Texas. Um, I think everyone by now's all watched it. I got on a little late, got work to do, but it was awesome. I think that some of the things those girls go through, just physically, and all the pain they went through, like there were some times and what they were willing to do for the coach and just for the team. From a competitive standpoint, hats off to you. From a like, man, that's almost a little cultish standpoint, like okay, but gonna do a rundown while it's fresh on my mind, just of the cast and things that I thought. One of the main things is it's just like how much they do put their bodies through. It didn't actually talk too much about like weight and everything, which I'm sure is a huge part. Like they were very careful in how they worded their things. Like, Monica doesn't want things to be considered ugly, but, and I know that, I don't know, they didn't talk too much. This one girl was like, I'm like 98.6 pounds or something like that. I'm like, oh my God, isn't that what we're supposed to be? Like our regular body temperature is supposed to be, not our weight. To be fair, though, none of them really looked like they were not healthy. But again, I don't know if that's just most of the time Netflix would want to, or most of the time I think they'd want to kind of expose that. I'd hope so, just from all the other content. I don't know. I don't know. I know that they do push. They have to eat healthy. They have to watch their diet. They have to do all that, and then just all the injuries that they had. Um, this is may cause. I don't know if y'all listened to sports radio at all, but a lot of the men in sports radio they talk about how our male athletes in, major league sports from football to major league baseball to NBA, our athletes are like they're babied. Like, you know, almost broken nail babied. And this is not something like this is not my opinion. These are other people's opinions that are really considered, this is a guy talking about another guy, so this is not like a feminist thing or anything like that. But just sitting there, and it reminded me, like, I honestly do think that women can handle a lot more pain. It has been scientifically proven, if I'm correct, but I'm not trying to get into that. It's neither here nor there, but wow, some of the things that they just handled, basically, it was awesome to watch. Favorite character probably in the end ended up being Gabby. Like it had to pretty much go through everything, like up until the last couple of episodes. I think I liked Morgan, and then of course Jerry. I know, sorry Gabby, I think I gotta give it to Jerry. His positivity is amazing. Um, like I don't think I ever heard him badmouth one freaking person. I don't even know if he even like had a breakdown. I'd say on like even when he thought he got the part and didn't, he was like like he had like one passive aggressive comment, but at the same time I'm like, man, this dude's worked his entire life. He lost his mom, and it was just awesome to see his positivity in life. Kudos to who raised that kid. Um, so Gabby was probably second. I actually thought I was going to extremely dislike her, and I did until I saw her parents, and I was like, man, she's had to put up with those people. Godly, like hats off to Gabby. Um, Morgan was up there, of course, and I think I was wondering if part of the reason, like, because there's 40 people at the camp that they could go on. Um, they ended up, I want to say they ended up highlighting, like, they highlighted Gabby, Morgan, Lexi, Ladarius, Jerry. I don't know if they, like, highlighted anyone else major. Like, those are the people that they had their backstories to. Um, and I only say that because, like, I wonder if they found people, besides Gabby already had a following, that had sort of, like, issues and problems growing up. Because, of course, there were, even if you just do those five, there were other 15 other people they didn't really touch on too much, and I just wonder if that's like if they did that on purpose, like just to get the story, because those are all five pretty inspiring stories, or if they like I don't really know. I would love to like have an episode of this about other ones, like they were talking about um I can't even think of her name, Sherbs right now. I don't remember her first name, but I know they were talking about her a little bit. I think her story would have been pretty good to watch, but I think they tried to shy away from like this person's family was rich, and so they had all this money, so then they went to all these camps and stuff. And even Lexi's background, like I up until the couple of the last episodes, I didn't like it. Almost they almost hinted like she hadn't done any competitions. Like they found her like a true like stick it type of thing. They just found her out in the middle of nowhere, and she could do this, and or this guy found her, but she'd been through tumbling class, and there's a lot of other, and she had other competitions that they had went through, so she wasn't just a nobody, quote unquote. I think Morgan, I hadn't seen her unless I misheard it. Like I don't think Morgan even was the only ones that didn't have like a club background or an all-star background. Man, I rooted for Lexi. Like I wanted her to do great, and it's not because she got in trouble or anything. I just, being honest, like the attitude of like almost like I wanted her to do great. Like I wanted to see her like actually change, or the fact that she didn't actually change. And she had all this help. Like, I'm helping you. I have your back. I'm not going to let you down. And yet you're the one that lets the person helping you down. Like that sucks. Like that's what I hate to see. And it happens all the time. Like I'm glad they showed it, because that's real life. Real life is people that you are actually going to go in and have your back, and those people that have been through so much, and you're like, I'm gonna help them, and try and like get them better in life and make them a better person. It's not always gonna happen, and they're not always gonna learn, and they're not gonna, for this 1 year, these 6 months, however long it was, they're gonna be great for you, but they're not actually gonna change. Like, and that's what sucked, that I didn't see change in her. I think Ladarius, of course, had attitude, but like I think it was more. I think it was more probably rooming with Jerry. I'd love to know who actually set that up, but like, and they even talked about it on camera how Jerry's were rubbed off on Ladarius, and Ladarius is rubbed off on Jerry. I think Jerry is an amazing person. I wish I had his optimism in life, but there's gonna be those days where you gotta be a little tougher. You don't want to get pushed around, and I think having that small part of Ladarius' attitude in them will help a little bit. Morgan, I mean, they showed a lot of her, and as much as they showed of her, I still, I thinking about it now, like I watched this maybe an hour ago, and I'm kind of forgetting a lot of her story. Like I know her story, but I think she would have done like freaking anything for Monica. Like that's what was killing me about Morgan. But I get it. This person, it is almost the opposite of Lexi. Like, yes, Lexi said she would do anything for Morgan, but I think Lexi said she would do anything for Monica, the coach, but at the end of the day, like, Morgan would have done it first. Like, Morgan's like, no, I will take a bullet for her. And I was like, I looked at my girlfriend, and I was like, I'd take a bullet for you too, but, yeah. And so, she was laughing a little bit about that, but it's almost cultish, but I get it. It's that conservative viewpoint, and I'm not trying to get political or anything. They talk about it, and I thought it was funny seeing some of the men's faces at football games, watching, Ladarius and all of them. I don't know what a boy cheerleader is, but yeah, but no, I don't. I think it was awesome. I think Ladarius was awesome. I think Jerry was awesome. All the guys were pretty good. There wasn't like any guy where I was like, ugh. I think the hardest part at one point was, I think I saw well, I was like, I couldn't believe, but I was thinking maybe if I don't know the guy. I think it may have been TJ or TT. I don't know, but he'd went to a competition for All Stars, which is not for the school, hurt himself and then like couldn't practice, and then Monica, the coach, basically made him practice, and I was like, oh shit, she's ruthless, like damn. And then like the fact that he got through it though, and like he like couldn't, he like, yeah, he was crying. Like I wonder if he was a little embarrassed. Like I don't know if he was as hurt as he thought, or maybe he was. Like I'm not trying to downplay his injuries, because those girls had some injuries, um, and uh, I think it's awesome how they did get Monica talking afterwards, because like when Sherbs got hurt, like whenever she was over there, like, oh no, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Like, and then later on, she was like, it's really that bad. Like, I just didn't want to tell her. I was like, oh, okay. And then, of course, there were some things that they didn't show, and I think Netflix maybe gave them a lot more privacy than other reality shows would have. And, as we're sitting here, like, ooh, we would have loved to see that drama, like, between Jajarius and Allie. Like, okay, like, give these kids, at the same time, they are kids. Give them some time. Give them their privacy. And of course, there's a lot of things that we didn't see that I know happened. Like, I think Gabby one time broke and was like, all these kids, I know they're all talking, like, she can't do it type of thing. And yeah, like, I'm sure there was gossiping. I'm sure there was almost in a way bullying. And there were times where I don't know if the camera purposely made it to where Lexi wasn't always there, or kind of left out, or if she actually felt that way. Like I said, I rooted for Lexi, but she just kind of disappointed me in the end, and that's okay. She just has nothing to prove to me, or to who am I? I just felt like there's a lot of people that's been there for her and tried to help her, and she has been through a lot. Do not get me wrong, so I can't really say anything. She's been through a lot, but she can't say no one's never been there for her, because she did have that, or she can't say that there wasn't someone trying to help her, because people were helping her. Who else? Gabby. I haven't talked about Gabby. Like, I think I did say, like, she was a character or a cast member that I didn't like at first. Met her parents, was like, I got it. I understand. And she may, like, absolutely love her parents. Absolutely love them. But I don't even, I would wonder if her parents actually have another job, or if that's just what they do is through Gabby. Like, because then Gabby kind of has to stay, like, with their management and everything. If that's their only source of income, like, Gabby keeps that entire household up. Like, I feel like she'd put it on her, like, it's her pressure. It's her burden now that she has to carry and all this stuff. And I don't know. Honestly, out of everybody, and this is crazy, even the coach and everything, I would like to sit down with Gabby one-on-one. Not an interview. Like, I would ask her questions, but not so much of an interview where I would, like, publish the things. I'm like, man, are your parents really that way? Did they make it seem that way? But the way she was rolling her eyes, the way the phone calls were coming in, the way she was, like, done with it, I could almost think that it was, like, her parents were those. And I didn't grow up with parents that bad. I grew up with some pretty strict parents when it came to sports, and I knew families growing up in a small town who their daughters were, it was pretty strict on their daughters. So I would just be curious to learn that with Gabby. I don't know. Like, I just felt for her at the end. Like, man, I'm sorry that you're stuck in that situation. Like, I think she wanted to be normal, and she wanted to have that experience. But at the end, but also I was surprised she didn't. If that's the case, then why didn't she go back to Navarro? Because if that was how she actually felt, I would have been like, man, I'm getting away from you for whether it's 4 weeks, whatever it is, another year, bye, I'd be gone. So I would be just curious to learn how all that happened. And I wonder if Gabby just went to the college just for the show. Like, if they're like, hey, come and do this, they're going to do this whole competition, you can come compete over here. I'm just curious. But overall, I thought it was amazing. I may later on think more about it and talk a little bit more about it. But I thought it was a good 6 episodes. and I wonder if they're gonna do a season 2. Don't know if they're gonna do a season 2, but I I really did appreciate it. You know, it reminded me about sport, about being back in, thought about my high school days and just how that family you do get. And a lot of people put sports down, and I think, as I talked about with the Kobe video, like sports and music is something that brings us all together and makes us just become a family. It makes for a moment, can make certain things okay, can stop wars for just minutes maybe, or it's a little longer than minutes, but just everyone stops fighting for a second and just watches a game, or watches something that's going on, and I think Super Bowl's coming up. It's 50 million people watching just this one thing, and in that time they're not really arguing. Maybe afterwards they're gonna argue, but for those couple hours, it's pretty awesome what sports and, like I said, music can bring together. But anyways, gonna get off. Thank you if you did listen all the way. Don't forget, guys, to enjoy the small things. Bye.